Pia, thank you so much for joining me. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
My name is Pia Aimée Tordly and I come from Norway. I began my career as a medical secretary, actually, and working both in general practice and in hospital settings. So I have a little bit health experience. Later, I transitioned into a field of information technology, where I spent several years gaining experience and a bachelor degree. And that was when I developed MCS, which led to me losing my job. My academic journey took a new direction then when I became aware of the significant lack of knowledge surrounding MCS in Norway. I decided to investigate this issue myself. So that's why I pursued a master's degree in social sciences. And in my thesis, I focused on environmental disability. It's the body meeting the environment, is the disability aspect of the MCS. And I interviewed people with MCS and explored their coping strategies. During these studies, I developed interest in sociology theories, suggesting that reality is constructed through language. And this interest led me to 2 master-level courses in non-fictional writing, which further deepened my engagement with the language and the language's role in shaping understanding. And I wanted to continue writing about MCS, but I didn't have the health-related concepts in place. That's when I pursued a second master's degree in society and health, specialized in health promotion. My language interest led me to adapt discourse analysis for my master thesis. That thesis later formed the basis of the academic article Environmental Disability.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction. Do you want to take us back to where you were and what you were doing when you first thought, hey, I think I'm probably dealing with MCS? What was happening in your life at that time?
I was moving into an old apartment. In that new apartment, I started to get some breathing difficulties. It was like breathing in sand or something. I had never felt anything like it before. So I just thought, okay, I'm tired. I go to sleep. But the next morning I was even worse. And I didn't understand. I had this strange thought. I want to ignore the symptoms because I want to live here. And when I went out of the apartment after half an hour, the symptoms were gone. Every time I went into the apartment, the symptoms started up again and it got worse and worse. And the fourth night I was spending there, I just couldn't breathe at all. In the middle of the night, I woke up, got out of the apartment, and we found mold, lots of it. I got an appointment with a lung doctor. And after just testing me, everything was fine. Didn't show anything wrong at the test. And he said, you have MCS. He just said, I'm the only one in Norway who believed that diagnosis exists. That's what's bothering you. And read about it and learn to cope.
Yeah, so you had breathing challenges. Did you have other health issues related to MCS at that time and going forward?
After that, I moved from place to place. I couldn't be indoor anywhere. And so I found this place I could stay in. It was totally free from anything, any chemicals. And that's where I began to tolerate indoor climate. But this time I couldn't tolerate any fragrance and I get all these symptoms. The brain fog came and burning feeling inside, headaches and nausea.
Nausea.
Yeah, and memory loss and all those cognitive impairments, you can call it.
Yes. And those continue today, to this day, as you when you go
Yes.
in indoor environments
Yeah.
and exposed to fragrance and mold.
First time I got my MCS was in 2008. And a week ago, I bought a new television set. And that's what I have headache today also, because something in the TV fills the air inside, and it's no smell, it's not perfume. I just understand it's the TV. It's getting better now because the TV is away. It's not just body products and cleaning products, and it's all kind of things.
How did other doctors respond to you when you went and maybe, I don't know if you shared the diagnosis or if you asked for support? How were you treated?
I had to get a new primary doctor. In Norway, all the citizens have their own primary doctor. It's a steady doctor, but you use the same doctor who follow you. I felt I had to get a new doctor because I got sick every time I went there because of all the perfume. A long time I was looking for the right doctor who believed me and who I could tolerate being in the office with. Yes, and I tried to get help and explain, but they just, I don't think they understood what I was talking about at all. So when I finally got my doctor, which I have to this day, he had heard about it. He is taking me seriously. They don't call it MCS in Norway. They call it symptoms associated to environmental factors. They don't believe that chemicals are the cause of the illness, of the symptoms.
I want to talk more about your decision to, when you had MCS, knowing you had MCS, and then you decided to embark on this really challenging path of studies, of going back to school, to change your career, to change your life, and to use your illness as a focus, as a guiding point, a launching pad, perhaps, for your studies, to deeply explore MCS. I imagine that took a lot of courage to change your life. What was it like going back to school, and did you have to face physical challenges of being in indoor spaces? Did you have any challenges or feel any feelings about sharing it?
I felt like I had to share it from the start because I was looking for answers. Is anybody experience the reality as I do it, or am I just an alien? So I was open about it from the start. When I fell out of work, it was a process. It took maybe 5 years to find out what was wrong with me. I did all these tests. I also went to a psychiatrist for 1 year to rule out mental illness. That was a good thing because I had that written. It must be physical. So then I got on welfare payment. I was very ill at that point. I had to isolate myself from other people for at least a year. And then I felt I had to investigate this issue, this illness on my own, because nobody else did it in Norway. And that's what I decided to go back to school. And higher education is free of charge in Norway.
And I'm struck, Pia, hearing you say no one else was investigating it.
No.
So there's very little research, very little awareness. You found one doctor, but the other doctors were uninformed, ill-informed. And so you decided to, hey, I'm going to take up this challenge. Was there one particular question you may have been looking in your research? What was the guiding question you had?
When I started, I didn't actually have a question because I just wanted people to know about it. So that was the motivation. And I also tried to look for a language, how to talk about the issue, because you can't compare it to other chronic illnesses.
In your research, you talk about the language that healthcare providers and physicians use, and you write that, quote, it mystifies, psychologizes, and stigmatizes a group of people. Did you feel stigmatized?
Yeah, I felt invisible. I felt like I was alienated. I felt like I was living in a different reality. But since MCS isn't a proper diagnosis, it's invisible in the system. So
you mentioned when you got a partial diagnosis, a doctor told you, Pia, you have MCS, and then you were sent to a psychiatrist. And we're often told it's a psychological disorder, but you actually had that experience. Let me quote from your thesis. When biomedicine falls short, psychology is often brought in. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that experience was like for you, sitting with a psychiatrist who was analyzing you? What was it like having to go through that process?
So I went to this psychiatrist and we talked, and she was looking for what was wrong with me to have all these fears, but she didn't find anything like that. And I responded to the cognitive therapy very well. I learned to cope with things, but the symptoms was the same. But I didn't have any psychological impairments. That was the empowering aspect of it.
Yeah. And the argument is that people with MCS, environmental disability, chemical intolerance, have experienced childhood trauma. And we have post-traumatic stress disorder, and we're traumatized, and we have psychological disorders. So when you hear this psychogenic argument, what are your thoughts and feelings about it?
In the beginning, I was very angry and sad and scared because I felt that the doctors didn't believe me. Now it doesn't bother me because no one knows. The thing that bothers me is the solutions for the problem. If it's just psychological, you just go to therapy and the rest of the society goes free. If it's about the chemicals, we need to downsize the disabling barriers, the chemicals. So it's two different solutions. Okay, we can do both, but you can't leave out the chemical, the environmental aspect of it.
I want to ask you, when I think of Norway, I've been to Scandinavia, but I haven't been to Norway yet. I think of a clean country. I think of snow-capped mountains and clean oceans, clean air. Obviously, it's not all of that, and mold is a significant issue in that part of the world. Do you think there's a stereotype that might contribute to the dismissal of people with MCS? How can you be reacting to chemicals in such a pristine, clean country? This is Norway. It's it's a wealthy country. How can you have this illness here? Is there anything to that?
Okay, we have our mountains and free spaces. It's not so crowded. And we are a country that is strongly regulated when it comes to chemicals. Maybe it's something in that, because the thing that is legal in Norway are taken for safe. We are on top in the world when it comes to trust. We trust the government. We have so high trust in the government. So we don't believe that they do anything to harm us. So when someone claims that, oh, the government don't do enough, they do things that harm us, it's hard to believe.
Do you think officials are open to listening to people like you in Norway and others, patients, advocates?
Yes and no. I try to reach out to politicians, and when you reach out to some, they say they understand, they show compassion, they are friendly. But when it comes to action, there are other things that seem more important.
When it comes to action, what kind of other some specific things that you think could be done to make it easier or safer for folks with MCS in Norway and beyond?
I think we have to start with our education system. I think we have to go that far down and start at the bottom. And also we had to start on the top. We had to have some regulation and political want. They have to want to alter the curriculums in training of social workers and healthcare workers.
You write in your work about the role of social workers. And do you think social workers could play a role in changing the medical system so it's better for folks with MCS? What would that look like?
Yeah, they have to be trained, of course, themselves first, but they can play a role they can guide people around them about this. I think doctors and nurses and healthcare personnel also should have the same training, but they can bring people with the same condition together, make free spaces, and help with housing, maybe. I think that's an invisible problem. In Norway, as you say, we are a wealthy country. If you can't find a place to live, if you can't, then that's a stigma on its own, if you are
Yeah.
homeless. So I think that's one role that social workers can fill, helping with housing. And I don't think it's a lot of people in Norway that need that kind of help, but for those who do, it's terrifying.
So,
That's
Pia, is there anything you'd like to share with folks who are listening in other parts of the world?
I want to say that some doctors in Norway, probably many, who are good doctors who believe in this and who are helping the patients as good as they can. So I don't want to say that no doctors believe this, everybody is bad. There are a lot of good doctors. But so I think when you come to PG, what do you call it?
Oh, yeah. When it comes to family doctors.
Yeah. And you go there for MCS diagnose or help with accommodation recommendation or something. Some doctors are very good, they want to help you. Some doctors maybe think, oh, it's psychological. Another thing is if you come to a hospital, for example, for other issues, removing appendix, for example, which I did this winter, no one has heard about MCS. I have written so many letters to the hospitals and asked for accommodation there, but they are just not interested.
Yeah, and we're fortunate when we find healthcare workers, physicians who see the body as a whole and systems that treat us as whole. So, Pia, thank you so much for taking time to talk with me. It's been really fascinating. It's been such a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me.